Alright y'all, so today's video is part of Inside the Search a little bit, and it centers around one of the more interesting names connected to the Falcons in my opinion, and that's offensive coordinator search. And Drew Terrell came up yesterday night as a team, or as a guy that we're interviewing. Alright, he's the wide receiver slash pass game coordinator of the Cardinals, who had a top 10 passing offense last year. And I think it's just deeper than seeing, oh, that was a good passing offense, let's go bring him in. It's a little bit deeper than that. All right, so Atlanta brought him in for a hire, and instead of reacting to that on the surface level, I wanted to actually dig into why this makes sense schematically and what it tells about us going in the direction that this offense could be heading. And before we even get into the film, I want to start with this chart like we always do with this type of video, because it gives us a real context for the passing environment that Terrell has been working in. And this looks at Arizona's passing efficiency, specifically when using multiple tight end packages. Okay, and it highlights a broader trend I've talked about in previous videos. That's the idea of going big to throw the football, not as a tendency, but as a way to actively dictate coverage rules and spacing. And this is also where the connection to Kevin Stefanski becomes important, because Stefanski has one of the league's, or I won't say he's been one of the league's main innovators, but he's been one of those coaches that is leaning into the trend of using 12 and 13 personnel to pass. Okay, and not just throwing in general, but like actually spreading the field out with 2, sometimes 3 tight ends. Okay, and when we look at what Arizona was doing structurally, you can see a lot of philosophical overlap in how defenses are stressed before the snap. All right, and after walking through this chart, we'll get into the film and to show how these concepts are dressed up and executed, and then we'll zoom out with an outlook and how this could look like for Atlanta, especially in terms of QB development, personnel usage, and how this offense could evolve, early versus long term. So without further ado, let's go and get into the tape. All right, so here's the first play I want to look at. Now, if we just look at the whole outlook of this, we have a 2 tight end set. So here goes the first tight end, here's the second tight end, Trey McBride. So that means we are in 12 personnel. So that means 1 running back, 2 tight ends, and 2 receivers. And one thing I really do like about him is that, I look at his play action shotgun game too, right? And if you follow me on Twitter, I kind of talked about how he does a really good job of causing a lot of misdirection and opening up passing lanes from the gun when he goes play action. So we're gonna watch this. We're gonna do an over motion. Okay, and he's gonna get set right here, and then he's gonna do an orbit motion. Like, that's a lot of stuff to look at. Okay, because now think about it, he goes from a 2x2 to a 3x1. Okay, and the Rams, they are in cover 3. We know typically cover 3 and nowadays is your matching receivers. So what we're gonna get here, all right, remember, he's gonna motion out and then go back out here. He's gonna be the flat receiver. All right, we're gonna get a pylon by the number 1. We're gonna get the sail route by number 2, and you have your 3-level sail concept. Okay, now remember, this motion over to a 3x1 already changed the rules of the defense. Okay, because now you're in a 3x1. This hook player right here would take 3 up. Okay, because now we have an outside third right here. We have the curl flat. This would be the strong hook. Okay, so he's supposed to take 3 through. This would in theory be 3. Okay, but you see the motion is going to mess up everybody. Okay, they're gonna get their eyes in the wrong spot here, and you see now, but then when we watch this play, you're gonna see there's actually gonna be in a 3-3 underneath. All right, so you see Nate Lemon blitzes. Okay, so now when you look at the zone distribution, we're gonna get the seam flat, the middle hook, and then the other seam flat. Here's the outside third, here's the post player, here's the other outside third. Okay, and you see it kind of messes with their rules a little bit, because now you see it's all distorted. Okay, because in a perfect setting, this guy right here would take 3 through. So look, you see that sail route right here, this guy would match 3 all the way through, because we already know that we have this pylon route by this number 1 receiver. Okay, we know that this guy's supposed to have him no matter what. All right, and so then this guy pushes out to the flat on the swing route, and then everything is accounted for. But like I always say, rules are an illusion when we talk about defense, because yeah, you may have the rules to stop a defense, or to stop a certain concept, but at what rate can the players execute those rules? And you see that this guy is a little bit too low. He's just kind of sitting here watching the quarterback instead of matching 3, and you see there's a big window to hit this pass. Okay, so I really like that, but it all started by changing the count, going from 2x2, 3x1, and then a fast motion, and then that gets everybody out of whack. Okay, because then remember, look, this guy flew out there, he went out there too. Okay, so they initially thought they were about to do some kind of swing screen right there. Okay, but no, that's not the case. We ran cell right behind you, and Trey McBride the best tight end in the league, is wide open and you're getting explosive. Okay. All right, then we get this play right here against Dallas. Now, the next 3 plays I'm about to show you, they're the same thing, but they look completely different in terms of play design, okay? So what we're getting from the offense here, we're going to be getting 4 verts, all right? Everybody said we're playing Madden. So we're going to get this over motion by this receiver, okay? He's going to be running the mandatory outside release in this situation, okay? We're going to get Marvin Harrison Jr. running the bender, okay? Now, remember, it's a seam route, but, you know, it converts to a bender if we get too high, okay? We're gonna get the same thing by Trey McBride, okay? And typically he bends in regardless. And I'm gonna show y'all like one thing that he really does well that I think if Drew Terrell comes over, like he's gonna get him doing the same thing. All right, we're gonna get a switch release right here, but you still see it's 4 verts, okay? So what I want y'all to watch like is how Jacoby Brissett and Trey McBride attack this area of the field right here, because they have a knack for it. As soon as he clears that linebacker, he's gonna settle up in space. Okay, now watch this. Okay, so you're gonna get this motion right here, and you see you're gonna get this switch release at the top. But look at this. As soon as Trey McBride clears that linebacker, he's gonna get his head around. Okay, that's the attention to details, because we know Kyle Pitts, he sometimes turns his head right before the linebacker, or right before he clears the linebacker rather, and then the linebacker is able to just carry him a little bit longer, which takes him off, you know, the read. Okay, but you see he's pushing vert. As soon as he passed that linebacker, he's turning his head around. Okay, that's not even the best part about it. Okay, he only turns his head, but he stops, he settles in space, and he gets, you know, the ball before the post player can even make a hit on him. All right, he's able to get a few more yards. Okay, now you're gonna see what I'm talking about, how they have this knack for, he's gonna throw that ball right to a spot, he's gonna sit there and stop. Okay, he's not gonna lead him upfield, he's not gonna throw it back shoulder behind him and the defender can undercut. He puts it right there on the spot to where he can stop. Okay, and I love it. But the whole thing you're looking at is you're getting 4 verts and you get the different options of the bender routes. Now, I'm not sure if these are like supposed to be locked or not, but you can see they both kind of just bend inside a little bit. Now, Marvin Harrison, he kind of just still goes down the seam, but you get the idea. Then here we are in the low red zone, right? Or I won't say low red zone. I guess the 15-yard line counts as the low red zone. Whatever, you get the point. So we're still gonna get the same play. Okay, we're still gonna get these mandatory outside releases on the outside and these bender routes, but it's an entirely different formation. Okay, you see now we're in a 2x2. Well, we still were in a 2x2, but now the Y is attached to the core. And you see this guy, he's cut inside the numbers now. Okay, so we're still gonna get the same things. Now he does go out wider a little bit, you know, he sells it, and then he's gonna, you know, run the bender once again. So look, same thing right here, it just looks different. Okay, so now I'm gonna add a different part into this, into the next one, but you're gonna see what I'm talking about again, where the ball location and the chemistry between Jacoby and Trey McBride were crazy. Because now look, this, like, the attention detail is crazy, because look, he's gonna go once again, he clears that first guy and he's gonna get his head around. And not only that, the ball location to throw it up and in front of him, that way he can go up and catch the ball. He doesn't put it like, you remember the last one, he kind of put it right here, but like a little bit lower. That gives his safety a chance to undercut that and take it back the other way. But if he throws it up, you know, let his 6'5" target go get it, then he can actually go and make a play on the football. Okay, and this is one of like the things where they run this a lot, but they run it in so many different ways and looks and personnel packages, because this is actually out of 11 now. Okay, I think, nah, that might be another tight end right here actually, but they running it out of different formations and different personnel packages, and they still get the same result. Down the seam, easy completion, first down, touchdown, doesn't really matter. Now, I did want to show another one, but this is another version of it. Now, this is a clip against us, but don't even worry about that just yet. They do have another version where they line up in like a wing formation. So we're gonna get the Y, we're gonna get an H, then we get the X and the Z, and we're gonna be in shotgun, obviously. But they can run the same thing out of it, where they do this bender route right here, all right, and they're still gonna get this wide end, the other bender, and then we're gonna get the other mandatory outside release. Okay, and he checks over the middle. All right, now this is my favorite version of it, because it shows run, but you can still attack vertically downfield. But this is a entirely different formation, and it's against us, by the way, but we're gonna add a wrinkle to it. All right, so now we still get our benders on the inside by the tight ends. Okay, all right, remember, once again, middle field open, we're gonna bend it inside, but our mandatory outside releases, they have the option to die if, you know, the corner's over top. Now this one, you're not going to get the corner, the receiver working back, because he's going to be even with AJ, but you're going to see, say Henderson stays over top of Marvin Harrison, and he has that option to die or fall off if the corner's too far over top. Okay, so this is the other variation of it where I really do like it, because it gives your guys answers, and it's not just locking you into one concept. All right, because now look at this, you're going to see what I'm talking about, where AJ is pretty much even with, I think that's Michael Wilson, and you're going to see that Henderson stays over top of Marvin Harrison, but then he's going to actually just fall off, and boom, because he knew he was going to overplay it, and he just fell off, and it was an easy comeback route. Okay, so I like that. All right, and then also don't forget about this aspect right here of the running back. He's able to check over the middle, check, and then he's going to do a check burst. All right, so imagine that being Bijan on a poor linebacker when we running 4 verts. Okay, we put Drake and Kyle in the seams right here, and we get Bijan in the middle of the field working ISO. Like, just imagine that. Okay, now here's one of his more pure progression style of concepts. Now what we're gonna get this return route by this receiver right here. We're gonna get a corner by Marvin Harrison. We're gonna get, I think it's like a middle read route where we're gonna get a seam, but he can bend it inside based on the coverage, and it's gonna be 2-man. And then we're gonna get this running back. He's gonna check over the middle and just go back in, right? We're gonna get this right here by the other tight end. Okay, right now, because look at this, now it really just cuts down on the quarterback's job. All right, so when you see a corner route from the number 2 and the number 1's going short, all you have to do is read the corner now. All right, if that corner stays with this receiver right here, which he does, and look at this, you know, Kyler Murray is looking at this corner and he's seeing, okay, bet that's what we got, and he's gonna let it fly to Marvin Harrison. Okay, he throws a very good jump ball. Okay, now I'm not sure if he was fully reading it. Maybe he was reading this safety, staying tight to the hash. He knew he couldn't affect that throw if he threw a jump ball. But like, that's an amazing throw, amazing catch, and a good progression style read right here. Because now look, remember backside, you have this little read route right here. All right, and then you're gonna get this little short under route, and then he's gonna get a return route right here. Okay, so it literally goes 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, and it's pretty simple. It's very consistent. Now this one is probably my favorite one out of all of the ones I'm showing today, and this is like, they put an extra lineman in. All right, so now they're in jumbo 12, jumbo 13, I think. Actually, it might be just 12. Okay, but this is my favorite one. All right, because it kind of blends the aspects of what Kevin Stefanski does with his X receivers, and also it kind of adds his twist on it, you know, in terms of Drew Terrell, what he's doing. All right, so what we're gonna get a slant front side. Simple, easy. All right, but now where my favorite part comes in is the backside. All right, because we're gonna get a lead swing right here by the extra offensive lineman and the running back, and then we're gonna get snagged by the number 2 and the number 1. Okay, so it's a snag with a lead swing. All right, and it's pretty simple. You go 4 strong, and you figure out if you had that 1-on-1 matchup. You think you have that 1-on-1 matchup, you probably do. Let's go ahead and take it. But if you don't have the 1-on-1 matchup, maybe it's too high, you get cloud coverage, or we know this guy likes to drop weak into the slant window, then you can easily work the snag front side, because they see 2 eligibles going out here. You might get guys flying out there, which is going to open up this snag. Okay, and maybe let's say the corner jumps it, now the 7 route is open. So like, it's very unique to me, and I really like it, because now when you look at this, remember we have this 1-on-1 matchup right here, because look, we're going to be getting a fire zone, some kind of fire zone by the Buccaneers, because you got 5 right here, and you see these guys are going to push out that way, and you see this, like, look at this, he manufactures a 1-on-1 right here, because look, remember 4 strong, we have 4 eligibles working right here. Okay, and we have 1 working backside on the slant. This is Drake London, this is Kyle Pitts. You could use this with Bijan Robinson if we get a linebacker out there. Okay, and he's running a simple slant route and gets an easy catch and run. Okay, that's how you manufacture 1-on-1s and win them. All right, and I think we could, this can translate to us easily. Now this is another pure progression one, but now we're actually in 13. Okay, so now if you look at what we have here, remember 13, so we have 1, 2, 3 tight ends and just 1 receiver out here. What we're going to get is, once again, a pure progression. So we're going to get this Omaha route or speed out. We're going to get the stick route by the second tight end. Okay, remember, he's going to just hook it up right here. If he's matched, he's going to work out. Then we're going to get the same thing that we always do when we have Zach. All right, And now this is a very common thing to work in terms of pure progression. So I wouldn't get too bent up on the fact that Zach Robinson did it, because a lot of teams do this, where they do stick front side, have some kind of dig and kind of whip route right here. But it's still an easy pure progression. You did this with your best guy, okay? Because remember, now we get corners off, so that means we have access. So we can throw this Omaha route, because look at this, catch, throw, and boom, that's easy. Now Devon Diablo, he did take a while getting out there, okay? Because we do play what's that word? I forgot the word it was, but we don't collide. We just we overlap all immediately to the flats, okay? So if this was like cover 3 or something, you overlap to the curl immediately. You don't collide with the number 2 and carry him. You just overlap immediately. But you see, Devon Diablo's a little bit too late, and boom, that was an easy catch right there, okay? So still easy, consistent reads, because look at this. Now you look at the backside, you have the 2, which is a stick. You don't like the stick. Now look at what's coming wide open. The basic, all right? This number, I don't even know, 88 or something like that, 89. He's coming open. And I'm sorry, Jalen, but like, you can't cover that well yet. So I'm gonna consider that open. All right. So it's pretty simple. Now, this is another example when I'm talking about in terms of like creativity in the play action shotgun game, because we're gonna get this bounce motion. He's gonna run back out, act like he's coming back to get the handoff, and then just sit up here and block. All right, and we're gonna get some different footwork by the quarterback. But what I'm seeing here is we're gonna get this deep in cut by Marvin. I think we're gonna get like a clear out right here and another clear right here. Now this could be 989, where it's supposed to be a post if it's a different too high, but he just bends it in, like he just flattens it off because it's probably single high. But like, you're gonna look at what I'm talking about. It's a play action concept, and it's a 3-man route, or a 3-man route being a concept. I can't talk. But you're gonna see what I'm talking about. So look, you're gonna get this bounce motion. He's gonna act like he's gonna come and get this handoff, and you see once again this unique footwork where he's gonna turn his back to the defense. And also you gotta add this element of it too, where you're gonna see this guy pull around, and all 3 of these guys just jump on it like a pack of hungry wolves, okay? And you want that as a play action game. Now remember, fake the handoff, this guy pulls around, all of these guys jump up. All right, now you see this guy's wide open. Now for some reason Kyler didn't hit it. I don't know what he was looking at, but he's gonna end up getting him regardless. And now remember, process over result. This guy was open out the break. Kyler should have let it go right here, but you still see he was able to manufacture an open guy. Kirby Joseph's not gonna affect that throw. I don't care, okay? Throw it, throw him down or something, but as long as you just don't throw it up high, he's not gonna affect that throw, okay? But still, he gets an open receiver. Just took Kyler a while to get it there. I don't know why it did, but it did take a while to get there. Now, if you watched my last video where I talked about possible free agent wide receivers, now you see Greg Dortch over here in the slot. I'm gonna tell you why having a gadget guy, or just a guy that can make stuff happen in space, having him is so important. Okay, because now he's gonna motion back here. We're gonna be in a split back formation, okay? And we're gonna do this handoff, or like what we used to do with Bijan early in the season, where we're gonna have the quarterback turn around this way. We're gonna fake it like we're going this way, and we're gonna have this right here, 2 crossing routes. It's as simple as that. All right, and we're also gonna get this lineman. He's gonna pull around to also draw these guys. So aside from this right here pulling them, they also have this guy pulling around to really influence these guys right here to just jump down. All right, and it's going to even do double the damage, because now look, you're going to see this guy Kirby Joseph, he's going to also take that bait and go down too. All right, so the threat of the play action can be just as effective under center as it is in shotgun if you know how to mess with these guys' keys. Because now look at this, we're going to get this fake right here. All right, and you're going to get this guy pulling around, all of these guys crowd the line of scrimmage, and you see you got Marvin Harrison running wide open for an easy touchdown. Okay, so I'm liking some of the stuff because there's a lot of overlap between what Stefanski does in Cleveland and what Drew Terrell did in Arizona, and he made a lot of stuff happen with subpar guys. So imagine when he gets top end talent like we have, he could probably multiply that. Okay, and I'm liking where this could possibly go. And so when you put all this together, the bigger takeaway isn't that Atlanta would be copying Arizona's offense or trying to replicate exact concepts. It's really just about alignment. The chart shows how effective passing can be when heavy personnel is used to dictate coverage, and the film shows that how that efficiency is created through spacing, leverage, and time, and not just play design. That's the through line. If Drew Terrell were to step into an offensive coordinator role, the appeal would be in how his approach complements what Kevin Stefanski already values. That's, once again, using those multiple tight end sets to spread the field and forcing defenses to declare early and creating cleaner reads for the quarterback without shrinking the offense in that sense. And that matters, especially for a unit that needs answers early in games and consistency week to week, which is something we just did not have. Atlanta specifically, this kind of structure gives you flexibility. You can lean on shotgun play action with motion and heavy personnel early to help the quarterback process coverage and play fast, while gradually layering in more under center elements as his comfort grows. And that's not avoiding the complexity, it's sequence development in a way that keeps the offense efficient while it evolves. And long term, this approach also scales with personnel, whether it's investing in tight ends who can stretch defenses vertically or receivers who understand spacing and leverage within condensed formations. The offense has become less dependent on one archetype and more dependent on collective execution, and that's how you build something sustainable. All right, so the outlook really isn't just about one interview or one hire, it's about the direction. And if Atlanta is serious about building an offense that dictates terms instead of reacting, this philosophy going big to throw, using personnel as a weapon, and marrying that structure with the teaching, it fits where the league is going and not where it has been. So remember, just to let me know what you guys think in the comments. I'll see you guys later in the next video. Goodbye.